This is Darshana Gauchan with your B2B Cambodia Market update for November 11th, 2024. The Cambodia Securities Exchange Index was down 0.5 points or 0.12% to 401.01. Total trade volume was down from Friday with 83,863 shares changing hands at a total value of 406.5 million real or approximately $99,580. On the main board, only one stock was up, while 5 were down. The one stock up was Grand Twins International, which was up 9.09% or 400 real to 4,800 real per share. On the downside, Pestec Cambodia was the biggest loser of the day, down 2.07% or 50 real to 2,370 real per share, followed by Royal Group Phnom Penh SEZ, which was down 1.34% or 30 real to 2,210 real per share. Other stocks down were Cam GSM, the Sihanoukville Autonomous Port, and the Phnom Penh Autonomous Port. Meanwhile, the Phnom Penh Water Supply Authority, Akleda Bank, and MJQ Education remained flat. Over on the growth board, both DBD Engineering and JS Land stayed flat at 2,060 real and 3,500 real per share, respectively. Akleda Bank once again recorded the highest trade volume of the day with 29,963 shares changing hands at a total value of 209.3 million real or over $51,000, making up roughly 34% of total shares traded on November 11th. Grand Twins International recorded the second highest trade volume of the day with 24,432 shares changing hands at a total value of 114.7 million real or over $28,000, accounting for around 28% of Monday's trade volume. In other market news, JS Land released a disclosure report announcing a decrease in revenue in Q3 of 2024. According to the report, as of September 30th, JS Land recorded a net profit after tax of 416.6 million real, which is a 96.76% decrease compared to Q3 of 2023. The reason the company gives for this decrease is that during the third quarter of 2023, JS Land recorded a spike in revenue, operating profit, and net profit from its completed development and sales of the Garden Residency 2 condominium project. In contrast, Q3 of 2024 did not have a similar corresponding major development project coming to an end and bringing new revenue in, hence the large quarter-on-quarter discrepancy. Moving on to the exchange rate, the Khmer Real to USD strengthened to 4,059 real per US dollar, while the US dollar index was up to 105.34. Looking at global commodities, oil prices were little changed on Monday as the threat of supply disruptions from a U.S. storm eased and after China's stimulus plan disappointed investors seeking fuel demand growth in the world's number 2 oil consumer. Brent crude futures rose 4 cents to 73.91 US dollars a barrel. The benchmark fell more than 2% on Friday. Gold prices fell for a second consecutive session as investors awaited U.S. economic data and comments from U.S. Federal Reserve officials this week for more clarity on the future direction of U.S. interest rates. Spot gold dropped 0.5% to 2,670.37 US dollars per ounce. U.S. gold futures fell 0.7% to 2,677 US dollars. As of the time of the Cambodian market's closing, U.S. stock futures were heading higher, building on the record highs reached last week. Dow Jones Industrial Average Futures added 80 points or 0.2%, S&P 500 futures were gaining 0.2%, and Nasdaq 100 futures increased 0.3%. All three indices finished at all-time highs Friday after a busy few days in which Donald Trump, who is widely seen as good for company earnings, won the presidential election and the U.S. Federal Reserve lowered interest rates. The S&P 500 had its best week in more than a year. Traders will now look ahead to new inflation data and a string of earnings from companies such as Home Depot and Shopify. This was Darshana Gauchan with your B2B Cambodia Market update for November 11th.